In today's video, we'll do a send me your team video. So I haven't done this for a few years and saw JxshAnd post one a few days ago, and yeah, enjoyed watching his video. So thought I'd do one myself, and yeah, check his video out. So yeah, it was good to watch. Now, send me a team. On Twitter, I posted if you want your team to be featured in a video, just comment using your web browser, take a screenshot, and then post it in the comments of the tweet. And yeah, I got to the first 16 teams. I'll be here till midnight if I'm doing, or longer if I do more teams. So hopefully do a few more of these if they get a good reception, and hopefully get to a few more people. So I do apologise for those who I didn't get to. But nonetheless, we can get stuck into the teams. But yeah, it is pretty early, so not going to be too harsh on things like structure. But yeah, see how we go over the next few weeks with pre-season games. So the first team, Harry De Rosario's team. My Italian is not very good despite being Italian, but nonetheless, we'll move on from that. So starting the defence, Hall, Lloyd Hall, Ridley, Whitfield, really solid four, I think. Worth noting with Hall, Luke McDonald's training in defence, so maybe Hall regresses slightly because of that, but how much he regresses, I don't know. So yeah, just keep an eye on the setup down at North in the pre-season. Sin Perez, I guess they're just rookie placeholders, so I think it's fine. O'Driscoll, and I wouldn't run a rookie loophole at D8. Don't think it's a good idea. With COVID outs, our bench might be under pressure. I'm not sure this is the year to run a loophole. The only reason to run a loophole this year, I think, is at R3 if we get nobody. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, rookies, just be careful with the Victorian draftees. I made a video on rookies a few days ago. They've missed a lot of football, so they might look good in match sim or training, but when the real stuff starts and then all the players get back together, they might not have that role that they had at match sim or whatnot. So just keep an eye on that. But more or less, they got to be up to speed. That's probably the main issue with those sort of players. So move on to the midfield. McRae, Steele, Marcus, Walsh. So obviously Walsh has been injured. That's right, just pretend it's Tom Mitchell or somebody else. Bonds, McRae, Steele, I think we'll see them in 90% of teams. Bond's an interesting one. He does have a nice fixture with McRae early, so I think it's perfectly fine. And then the rookies, Horn Francis, Dacos, and then pretty much all placeholders. So I do think players like Dylan Stevens could be good just because a role was there for them. So maybe he's worth getting in if he looks good. And yeah, third year high pick, whereas for example, Godin Roberts both first year players rather. So that could be short up. Grundy, O'Brien in the rucks. Don't know about that. Don't know about Rob. I guess it's probably last year he played a bit injured, and he has a better buy than all the other ruckmen, so maybe he bounces back. I do think there is slight competition from our backup ruck, but I'm pretty sure for the most part Rob will play every game, but you never know. I think there is slight competition there. Yeah, full pre-season from Rob. I expect him maybe 100, 105. So I guess it's okay if you don't like Darcy or Gorn. But yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. And then preset R3, see how that goes. I don't know. I'm not a believer in the Bruce pick. But I guess he might make money. Just has to stay on the park. And yeah, don't know. I think it's just a lot of money to have on the bench. But we'll get a gauge on how... Gorge or gauge, I don't even know which one it is. See how he goes in the preseason game, see how he looks. But yeah, at least he's at R3, not R2. And then the forward line, Dunkley, Thomas, Butters, all fine picks, Cogs, Holland, Skinner, DeConning, and then I don't know who that is. So with the rookies, I'm not sure we'll get 4 base rookies in the forward line, but if we do, that'd be great. So yeah, overall solid team. So the next team is itsdamo's team. So down back, Lloyd, Hall, Ridley, and then a whole bunch of rookies, and oh, that's Lockie Jones and Ben Long. This is not good. And then Sam Darcy on the bench and Ryan Gardner. So I think this is trolling. I hope it's trolling anyway. So obviously Lockie Jones, Ben Long. Long, I don't know what his role is, probably forward. Jones, too many injuries. Ryan Gardner is the worst possible pick you can make in the game, I think. Like, I'd rather hold Sam Walsh on the bench for 4 rounds of syndesmosis than pick Ryan Gardner. So yeah, Sam Darcy's not going to play, so you need to fix this. This is terrible. Itsdamo. So yeah, this is not good. And then midfield, Steele, Parrish, Neil, perfectly fine. Rao, I guess, is okay. I see how he goes in the preseason games. Dan Hanbury in the midfield. Man, he's been injured for a long time now, so I severely doubt he stays on the park. So I think he's too risky. And then a whole bunch of rookies here. Alex Davies, maybe he gets games, can play inside mid, but not sure where he is in the pecking order. But yeah, rookies look perfectly fine. Johnson won't play, so he can go. In the rucks, Darcy and Draper. Okay, so let's talk about Sam Draper. I think he's too injury prone. 400k, I think he is. So I can't actually read that from. Yeah, 400. No, I wouldn't. There's a chance he does break out. What is he, 4th, 5th year now? Something like that. High talent. Bombs didn't want to get rid of him at the trade table. I don't know. See how he goes in the preseason games. It was good in the intra-club today, but it was against Phillips. So I don't know. He has to. It's hard. It's a hard one. So I don't know a whole lot about Draper, to be honest. But he seems his floor is too low, so he needs to raise that floor. So it's no from me. Dunkley, Heaney, Butters. I think that's fine. I think that's what most of us in the Discord are doing at the moment. Don't bother with... Norton could actually be good, to be honest, but I wouldn't do it. It's too much of an ask for a key forward, especially him that's plays a injury-prone or taxing game style where he can get injured easily. Cog's fine, and Riccardi, I don't know why you have Riccardi. Not sure he's best 22, and not sure in his role. So, overall, pretty terrible team, but some good things. Yeah, I guess Draper could be okay. I wouldn't do it. I like Parrish. But yeah, Gardner, again, enough airtime for itsdamo. So the third team is Coco 22. So starting the defense, Lloyd Hall, Short, Whitfield. I think that's a really solid starting 4. If I had to pick 4 right now, it would probably be those 4. Depending how Jordan Dawson goes in his preseason games with his role. But yeah, probably the 4 I like the most. And then 4 base rookies. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't. There might be a few worth paying up for, so we'll see how that goes. So maybe plan for that if required. McRae still took Oliver Neal. I think it's too expensive, I think. I don't like it, given the weakness of the forward rookies, I think. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if there are 5 mids to pick, these are probably the first 5 along with Tom Mitchell. So yeah, you're going to score a lot of points with this and a lot of captain options. So it's nice to secure them. It just means that you're going to bleed elsewhere. So you need to weigh that up. Jared Berry, I don't mind. It sounds like he would play more wing. I don't know. So not a whole lot of interest in Berry, but one to watch. I haven't heard... You hear a lot of players at Brisbane having great pre-seasons like Neil and Rayner and Kadeen Coleman. Haven't really heard much on Berry. So hopefully we hear a bit more about that. In the rucks, Darcy Grundy, pretty standard. And then Dunkley, Cogs, Curnow. So very light in the forward line. Eli Smith, Will Kelly, Charlie Parker. I wouldn't want Sam DeConning on field. He's strictly bench. I don't know if we even get Holland, so I think you'll need to cut mid and figure something out in the forward line. Other than that, it looks pretty good. So the fourth team is Murray AU's team. Now in defence, I think everyone's had Lloyd so far. Lloyd, Hall, Ridley, Whitfield. That's great. And then 4 base rookies pretty much. Kemp's paid up for. See how Kemp goes. A lot of competition. So I think he's a rebounding halfback. So they got a few of them at Carlton. So I'm not sure he plays, but apparently having an okay pre-season. In the midfield, McRae, Steele, Mitchell, Neal. I love it. That's great. Horn, Francis, Dacos, Clark, Sidsas, a whole bunch of base rookies. Hopefully we do get 5 base rookies. And I like that there's O'Driscoll's in here. I think he's a good chance to play. So yeah, really, really strong. I think it's there might be some other rookies to pay up for, potentially Erasmus and Dylan Stevens. Like Sidsas, is he going to play? Connor McDonald's a really young, first year player. Even Greg Clark is, I'm not sure he's certain to play at all. So see who we get, but I'll be prepared to have a plan B if you don't get all these rookies, because there's a lot of base rookies in this team. See how we go. With reduced list sizes, we saw last year, it felt like there was a reduced amount of rookies, so it might be tough. Darcy, Grundy, that's great. Dunkley, Heaney, Butters, Cogs, Kerno, Hollands. I think it's the most common forward line we'll see is these 6. And then Will Kelly on the bench. I wouldn't pick him even if he plays, to be honest, but see how that goes in the preseason. So the 5th team is Tom Fayle with F-A-Y-L-E, not F-A-I-L. See if it is a fail team. Can see some failures in here, but we'll move to that in a second. So Lloyd, Ridley, Short. That's good. Really solid. Millerer, Sin, Chesser. Okay, so Wayne Millerer. I really hate Millerer as a pick. Probably because he burnt me a few years ago when I thought he was going to break out. But foolish of me, didn't realise how poor his durability was, and he also lost his role. So, look, I think Millerer, he'll want to play halfback. I think he'll probably get that role. I don't know. He's just, as a Crow supporter, I'm very frustrated. Probably some bias in here because he signed a 5-year deal, and he's done 2 years of sitting in the sidelines because he didn't get his body capable of playing AFL standard. So paid him probably $1 million to do nothing. So that really pisses me off as a Crow supporter. I guess some of it's luck with injury, but the fact that he broke down in a preseason game is a little frustrating. So yeah, still not in full training. Durability is bad. Yeah, like a preseason. I think you're wasting your time here. I don't like the Millerer pick because it's always he looks good in preseason, and the only thing, look, he might play a seagull role. It's possible. So look, it could work. He just frustrates me. I don't trust him, put it that way. So yeah, I prefer Kenny Coleman, to be honest, who's having a full preseason. And yeah, been building into good form, whereas Miller has been dead for 2.5 years or something, whatever it is. So yeah, 4 base rookies, I guess might be okay. See how that goes. McRae still took Neil. I think that's good. Juan Francis, Dacos, Erasmus. So yeah, at least you paid up for Erasmus here. So at least, you know, maybe you can go down. Maybe you got 66k in the bank. So maybe you can pay up a little bit more if required. So I like that. Darcy, Grundy, I think that's solid. Dusty. So Dunkley and Dusty. I don't love Dusty as a starting pick because every year he does the same thing. He doesn't tackle anymore. He plays more forward of the ball. So in Richmond, do they bounce back? I doubt it, to be honest, but they could be wrong there. You'll get Dusty cheaper. Plus, he has not had a full preseason, so I don't like the Dusty pick, to be honest. I think you get him cheaper, but 500k, I think it's okay. So yeah, if you want to start him, that's fine. I wouldn't, though. Just he can be really frustrating. Heaney, I like. Gresham, I think, is a waste of time, purely because he's going to play more forward earlier in the season. Going to ease him in, so I don't think he's even in full training yet, or doing full training loads. So I wouldn't bother with Gresham. Later in the year, if his CBA start to spike and he's feeling really good, then we'll talk. Now, no. Cogs fine, Hollands F6. I guess it's pretty good. So overall, I like most things. Look, Miller could work, but I hate it, and I don't think Gresham will work. So other than that, really solid. So, Gezim Nex, his team. First Dawson, I think we've seen. So Lloyd, Hall, Dawson, and Short, and Whitfield's 5 at the back. I don't mind if I had to pick 5 players. I think it would be these 5 because I definitely think we need room for Dawson in case he excels in the inside mid role. Potentially could be D1 in that role. Was probably matching Hall's numbers in the back half of the year last year, playing on a wing. So yeah, inside and outside probably will score well. So definitely want to keep a close eye on Dawson, but I do like the pick. I think it's fine going 5 deep with these players because they all have tremendous upside at the price. Maybe not Lloyd, but the others do. So I think it's fine. I don't mind it. And yeah, 3 rookies, it's whatever. McRae, Steele, Neal, 3 premium midfield. I do like 3 primo midfield because there's a lot of money makers. Some you have to pay up for, but there's a lot of money makers in the midfield, and that should keep playing. So I do like it. Look, it might hurt. You might think you're getting hit pretty bad at M4, but by sacrificing M4, you're really helping your F5, F6, your D5, D6, and that's where the advantage comes. So you sacrifice your M4, but you bleed less, and you spread out better job security amongst your team by sacrificing M4. It does mean you have to get to that mid, which is harder to trade in, but at the same time, you're having a healthier squad. So you got to just weigh it up. What's your preferred thing? I don't know what the answer is, to be honest, but for me, it'll depend on quality of rookies that we get. But I do like it. Then yeah, a whole bunch of rookies here, a few you've paid up for, which is great. Darcy Grundy is good. And then this standard Dunkley, Heaney, Butters, Cogs, Kerno, Hollands. So yeah, seeing that a hell of a lot. So yeah, I do like it. Do like it, Gez. Yeah, can't really fault it, to be honest. So the next team, Griffin the Heroes team. I do struggle to read fine print, so yeah, bear with me on that one. So in defense, no Jake Lloyd. I think that's perfectly fine if you don't want to pick Lloyd. People say that, oh, Dawson's gone. I think his final 10 games were really good, but that last game that he played against Gold Coast, where I think Heaney went 130, Dawson went 150, Lloyd went 150. They were so uncompetitive that game. I think it was like a 90-point loss or something for Gold Coast. So that really spiked his average, Jake Lloyd. And maybe if that game didn't happen, people would see his average would be sub 105 and look at him a little bit differently. So I think Lloyd drops a little bit in his price. Perfectly fine to fade him, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my view on it. So Hall, Dawson, Ridley. First time we've seen Sicily. So with Sicily, it's probably worth noting he got a lot of kickouts a few years back when he was at that primo, and there was one year where he averaged 90, where I think he had to play a bit more of a defensive role at times. So there's every chance he has to do that again. But maybe Sam Mitchell just wants him to be freed up. But you got Scrimshaw back there. I feel like they play a similar role. Scrimshaw's a really good kick as well. So there's a bit more outlets for Sicily. There's a bit more outlets around Sicily now than there was last time. We saw with Ridley, when Heppel came into the team, missed the first few games, I think. Or Ridley, who was it? No, it was Heppel. Heppel and Hind, when they started to get a bit more confidence, playing a bit better in defence, Ridley's output dropped. So it's the same scenario for Sicily, where Sicily had no one that was taking his points last time. Now there will be shared. You got Bramble back there if they don't put him on a wing. MP as well. Will Day, when he plays, might play on a wing as well. So they have a lot of outlets now. So I would bet Sicily low 90s if I had to, but we know his ceiling is higher than that. And therefore, 4 rookies, I think that should be okay in defence. Fingers crossed. McRae, Steele, Neal, 3 primo mids, plus Sarong. So with Sarong's really hard to pick because he's only 3rd year, whereas you see, most midfielders, look, with the exception of, say, McRae and Oliver, maybe Bont as well, who came on really, really early and are absolute superstars, multiple All-Australians, probably like 10 All-Australians between them. Most midfielders break out to 110 plus 5th, 6th year, maybe like 6th year on average or something like that. So it is unlikely. He was already getting a lot of CBAs, so you'd be betting on natural improvement. I'm not sure that's a bet I'd like to take, but it could work. If you really believe in it, I think that's fine. But yeah, it is a big step up. And then a bunch of rookies here in the midfield, that's fine. In the rucks, Darcy Grundy, that's fine. And then Dunkley, Thomas, Heaney. So I really like Taron Thomas. I think, like, for example, I like Heaney over Thomas because Thomas' durability, probably a bit better. But Thomas will probably only get like 50% mid-time. Maybe they give him more. He is their best player, I believe. But they have so many players, and you know, Cunnington will probably come back. Anderson said he's going to get I think he said he might get the second jab or whatever. So there's going to be a few more names coming into that side, and you know, LDU, like, can they move him around? I don't know. They're not going to move Simpkin around. They're going to put, you know, Horn Francis, Will Phillips. There's just so many names here that might cap him in an average in the 90s. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I didn't even mention Greenwood, so there's just so many names that can go, you know, 80 plus, 90 plus, 100 plus. Whereas Heaney, he's probably second to Parker until Mills comes back. Could even surpass him. So that's my only issue with Thomas, but he looks unbelievably good, unbelievable talent, and fourth year now. You know, fourth years can generally go 90 plus if they're really, really good. So I don't mind the Thomas pick. I think it's solid, but it's just his ceiling might be capped because of how many players are around him. But apparently he's improved over the preseason, so that'll be an interesting one to watch, and one I'm still considering. So Rayner, not sure on Rayner. We'll see his Tog in mid-time, and then we'll get a better idea. Canelo and Curnow. So Curnow F6 I like a lot because I don't love the forward rookies. So I actually quite like this team. I don't mind the ambition in Sarong as well. So a solid team. So this team is Boylebs. Oh, that's seen an interesting one in the forward line. Lloyd, Hall, Ridley, and Whitfield, pretty solid. Yeah, really solid four at the back, and then four rookies. I think that's looking like standard for most people. I think McRae, Steele, Mitchell, Neal, love it. Then a whole bunch of rookies: Darcy, Grundy, Dunkley, De Goey. So Jordan De Goey in the forward line. I think you could do it. Remember, he has missed a bit of preseason, so I guess he was training. So I don't know. Are they just easing him into the forward line, or do they want him to play forward more? Because that's what he's doing at training for the most part, from what I've read. But yeah, he's playing both. So Jordan De Goey is basically, you want to see the forward mid split in the preseason and then make an assessment from that. I think that's all you can really do at this stage. But yeah, we know he can go 105 plus playing midfield. New coach as well, so maybe he gets used differently in the midfield and what type of midfielder he is, but that's all guesswork at the moment. So Alex Neil-Bullen is a role player, so get him out now. Unless you know something I don't know, if he's playing midfield or something. Otherwise, he got to go. But yeah, Boyleb's solid team. So then Nathan and a whole bunch of numbers in his name. No Hall or Lloyd, interesting. I think it's okay. A lot of these defender options I think are solid. So Dawson, Ridley, Whitfield, and Sicily, and Kadeen Coleman. So I do like Kadeen Coleman at this stage. Zorko might go back in defence, which I think is bad news for Coleman. Just one more outlet to deal with. So look, he's having a great preseason. Kadeen Coleman, high contested rate, might take some kickouts. So their kickouts might carry him to like an 85 average or something, but at this stage it's still very early, and he's pretty young as well, so there is a bit of risk there. The DPP is also really nice. Flick him around with DeConning. Then a bunch of rookies, that's fine. Steele, Oliver, Walsh, Neal, Matty Rao. I think I saw a Rao team before, I didn't comment on Rao. It's probably worth commenting on Rao. Obviously Walsh has got to go, but Rao is interesting because he was so bad last year, probably because of injuries. It's just, does he get back to his best? Sounds like he's having a great preseason, but does he get back to his best? And I wouldn't have a single clue whether he does or not. I guess you have to go by the eye test, and maybe he says how he's feeling, if he's feeling as good as he used to. Because he just wasn't playing well. I don't know if it was body or he just forgot how to play. He just wasn't spreading well, was always stationary at stoppages, wasn't, you know, using the feet at the stoppage. So I don't know, not sure. So see how he goes. I think there is a fair bit of downside to this pick, but there's also a lot of upside to this pick, so one to keep an eye on. And then the rookies, very much whatever. I see Finn McGuinness on the bench. I don't think he plays, to be honest, but
There's too many young guys, but I think, you know, he could be a sub or, you know, last spot on the bench. I think he's in that sort of range. Grundy Rowan in the rucks. Okay, so Rowan. I think it's okay. I'm probably expecting 100, maybe 105 average because he has to share with Ryder. If he gets forward status, it would be a huge win. Huge win. Because then you don't have to deal with all the other issues with the other rucks. So, if you want to pick Marshall, I think it's okay. He has a good buy, so you get some extra points over the buys. And Ryder will probably go down for a few weeks. He won't play 22. But then again, if he doesn't get forward status, you're kind of stuck. You're probably losing points every week against somebody else who has the better R2. So, look, I don't think it's the worst play because of the issues with Darcy and, you know, Gorn's ruck time and stuff like that. But yeah, you'd probably want to hope he gets forward status. So I'm not against it, but yeah, you can't really sideways him. It's just you have to do other stuff during the year rather than sideways your R2. In the forward line, Dunkley, Butters, Gresham. I've spoke about Gresham before. Doesn't sound like his role is going to be very good. And yeah, Kerno, Cogs, and Holland. So yeah, I think it's very solid. So you're just not sure about Gresham, and keep an eye on Rao. But other than that, I really like this team. Bit different. It's a cool team. Number 10 is Ahmet, Celik. So this guy posted easy dubs on his team. So just call the Jets, young man. You can't win in round one. You gotta make a lot of good trades, a lot of good captain options, and play the buys right, and not get sucked into stuff, which I do quite often, but do my best. So yeah, first mistake is claiming victory in February, but the team actually looks okay. So Lloyd, Hall, Dawson, Whitfield, Coleman, really solid back five. You've spoken about most of them this video anyway. And McRae still, Neil, pretty solid. Rao, and yeah, I spoke about Rao before. Just you wanna, it's all about eye tests for Rao, I think. So see how he goes. Yeah, a whole bunch of good rookies here. Paid up for a few, which I like. Darcy, Grundy, pretty standard. And then Dunkley, Thomas, and Heaney. So I spoke about Thomas before. I do like the Thomas pick. Just a whole lot of other mids that could take some mid time, but I do think he's their best player. He should get the mid time he deserves. 50+%. So see how that goes. So next team is I can't actually read the name. JxshAnd, I think. Yeah, I can't see small print. So anyway, so his team is Lloyd, Hall, Ridley, Short, Whitfield. Yeah, I don't mind this starting five. I think they're all really solid. I don't think, for example, Zach Merritt played a bit of halfback. I think McGrath played a bit of halfback. So they could be interesting options. Like one of them, I doubt Zara will, but you want to leave slots open, especially you definitely need a slot open in case Dawson tears up in his mid-roll. And then Tom Stewart, if he comes back later, looks good off his injury. So it is a little deep because I don't think Ridley's ceiling is high enough in the current makeup of the of the Bombers' defense. But nonetheless, I think it's okay. I think these should all be top 8, top 9 defenders. So I think it's okay to line up like this. Plus it helps you get an extra keeper in, so it saves you trades afterwards. There's a lot of power in that. So I don't mind it. McRae, Steele, Neil, 3 primo mid, and then paid up for a few rookies here. So I do like that. I really like the thinking behind it. Darcy, Grundy, a lot of Dunkley, Heaney, Butters, Cogs, Kerno, Hollands. So it's definitely the most common setup that I'm seeing around, and I like it. I think it's really good. And just on these 450k forwards, I think it's important. There's such great potential value here that avoiding them could really hurt your team. Because if other people get a 450k keeper and you don't, you are down money. So I think it's important that I would be going for one of these guys. I'd be happy to go for 2. 3's probably pushing it just because of DPPs coming in. So, but yeah, there is a risk there. But we know that Heaney and Butters in the right role, which it's expected they get a really good role. S tier talents, and high in the pecking order for midfield time. Maybe Butters a little bit lower than Heaney, but yeah, but it doesn't need huge CBAs to score anyway. So yeah, just wanted to touch on that. So the next team is, I can't read the name. So this guy's team, Lloyd, Dawson, Whitfield, Sicily. I think that's fine. Buku comes. I don't know if he plays. Oh, it's Dezi's team rather. Lloyd, Dawson, Whitfield, Sicily. So no Short or Ridley. I think that's okay if you don't want to do that. No Hall, I guess it's okay as well. 4 rookies, I think it's fine. So look, pretty decent setup. Sicily, again, I spoke about Sicily before. Don't be surprised if you end up in the 90s. You want to see him get a lot of kickouts in the trial games. If he doesn't get a lot of kickouts, I'd be a little bit worried. And then the midfield, Steele, Oliver, Bont, Walsh, Wines. Obviously Walsh is gone now, but speaking about the Wines pick, so Wines is probably max price. You probably get in cheaper. And it's very hard to tell, does he back the year up? Does he regress a little bit? It feels like he can't do much more than he possibly did, even though his back half was better than his first half. Yeah, he had an unreal year, able to take contested marks, intercept marks as well, being that big-bodied mid. So, look, I think he'll be around the mark for top 8, but I probably have him more in the 11th to 15th range. At least he has a good buy. I think he has the early buy, which is nice with Steele and Walsh, I guess, but no Walsh. So it's okay. I won't talk people out of Walsh. I do like I probably prefer, say, a Tom Mitchell, to be honest. But that's just me. But if you really like Wines, perfectly fine. And then a whole bunch of rookies paid up for. No Dacos. I would probably get Dacos in if he looks good. Everyone will have Dacos. So yeah, providing Dacos looks good in the preseason because he has missed a lot of footy, I would be picking him. Gawn Grundy. So first one I've seen of Gawn and Grundy. With Gawn, I think it's okay because you'll probably save a trade in the long run. But just, if he only averages like 108, don't be surprised, I think. Just because the Jackson's time in the ruck seems to be going up and up and up. So, but if he got forward status, it would be pretty sick. So I understand the logic behind picking Gawn, but look, if they continue with their ruck setup, he's not going 115 plus, so not getting a whole lot of value there, but understand the situation in the rucks. 102 loophole, I don't know. Hopefully we get Combin playing, that's all I'll say. Otherwise, I'm very undecided as to what I'll do in the rucks. Do you run this guy? 102k loophole? I honestly don't know. I haven't given it enough thought, but I guess you save a bit of money and you got a loophole there and you can chuck him in defence if Sam Hayes debuts or something. So in the forward line, Dunkley, Gresham, Rayner. I hate it. Gresham already spoke about before. Not sure his role is going to be good enough early days. And then Rayner could work. It's just he's off an ACL. A lot of hype though. Again, I want to see his time on ground and his mid-time. So yeah, I don't see Rayner as a keeper, but look, his average chance to average 80 plus, which would be a okay return. Hopefully he can make like 120, 130k with good job security, but you probably want a bit more than that. I'll see how he goes. Cogs is fine, and then a whole bunch of rookies here. So none of these rookies, I doubt any of them are playing round 1. So I probably need to fix that in, yeah, keep an eye out. But I guess they're placeholders, so that's fine. So Daryl Hall's team, Lloyd, Ridley, Short, Whitfield, and Coleman. I think that's fine. McRae, Steele, Mitchell, Neal. That's fine. A whole bunch of rookies. Darcy, Grundy, and then Dunkley, Heaney, Butters, Cogs, Hollands, Parker. So I think this is, I really like this team a lot. Really, really strong. I think Whitfield, Ridley, and Short all share a buy, so something to, I think you could do it because it's the first buy, but just something to keep in mind. The only thing I can probably comment on here, look, I can't really fault the team. I'm not sure we get 2 base rookies in the forward line that I trust. Maybe we get like a Skinner and a Conning plus more defender rookies who can do that. And then Hollands is very up in the air, and I don't know how Parker makes the team, but if he does, looks like he'll play halfback, so he'll be a pretty good rookie, I think. Just has to get named. So look, I really like the team. Really solid, love all the primos. The only thing I'll say is just be mindful of forward rookies. So see how that goes. Next team is TranquillCam's team. So we got Hall, Ridley, Short, Whitfield in defence. Will Powell, okay, interesting one. So it looks like Powell will start taking more kickouts in defence, and he's a halfback for Gold Coast. So trending upwards, but I noticed that there's a fair bit of variation in his scores. So kind of betting on a breakout here. I'm not sure, to be honest, but if you like the pick, go for it. But it seems a little risky because we have so many other proven options for just an extra 50 to 80k more. So not sure it's worth the risk unless you really looked into it and think it's going to work. But otherwise, yeah, go for it if you want. In the mids, so 3 primo mids: McRae, Steele, and Neil, pretty standard, and a whole bunch of rookies, a few that have been paid up for, so I think that's fine. Darcy, Grundy, and then in the forward line, so all 3 of Thomas, Heaney, and Butters. I like it. Look, there's every chance. I spoke about this in my forwards video, where if you can secure a keeper, multiple of them for 450k, that will go a long way to helping you finish your team, because they're all super talents. They're all going to play midfield, or get a fair bit of midfield time anyway, and they've all got some level of provenness to them. But there's also risks associated with all of them, but as there is with all the forwards. So I think it's good. I like all 3, and I'm not against starting all 3. Probably means you won't get the best top 6 defenders, top 6 forwards rather, but you get a lot of extra points early if the picks work out, and you'll be able to finish a team probably earlier than everyone else. So there's value in that. So I actually really like this team. So I think it's a cool team. Next team, Liam Bowles, Lloyd, Rich, Hall, Dawson in defence. So speaking about Rich, apparently Rich has already had some soft tissue issues in the preseason. Get him out now. That's all I'll say about that. And in the midfield, Steele, Miller, Merritt, Neal. So don't see a whole lot of Merritt. And fading McRae, I think you can fade McRae because he is... he's probably a bit overpriced, because he'll only probably get CBAs in the 70s just because how the Dogs midfields work. However, his fixture's really good early, which is probably the scary part of it. But he's max price, and everyone will have him, and if he does drop, you can probably get him for low 600s. But nonetheless, I think McRae's probably the go-to captain, so I would advise picking McRae, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Zach Merritt pick. He's an upgrade target. Every year he's just not a starting pick, and he's a great upgrade target because, as I mentioned a few times on the channel, contested ball, he doesn't win a whole lot of contested ball, which can keep his scoring down. So he will have games where you can get him for 560k, and that's when you get him. So I wouldn't worry about starting him. I'd start someone else with a higher ceiling. Patrick Cripps. Oh dear. Oh no. Get him out. Here's the thing. He has durability issues now. There's been nothing to suggest in the preseason that he will get back to that level. So I don't think his body can do it. He's played a very taxing game style for a while. And I do worry slightly about Steele, because Steele's game style is very taxing as well. Very physical. So yeah, I think Steele's probably has a better work ethic than Cripps, but nonetheless, I wouldn't. 2.5 years of disappointment as a SC pick for Cripps. Do you really want to go 3rd time around? I wish you all the best. Oh, Pollock. So now this guy's trolling. Yeah, get Pollock out. I fell for it. Luke F and Valenti. He dead. So good editing there. And then the icing on the cake, Braden Pruce. I do my best on this channel. There are so many things that can go wrong with Pruce. It is such a terrible pick. He even declared that he's behind Flynn at the moment. So he's even telling you he's not the first ruck. So I don't know what more do you want. So I think the only thing that's with Pruce is, the only thing I have to get right with Pruce is when he gets managed, or when he gets injured, or when he has to play forward more because he's second to Flynn. So I'm not sure which one goes first, which one happens first, but one of them will happen, and your season will be finito, because you need 2 trades if you can fix it in 2 trades. And if you use a boost to fix it, 3 trades, then you might as well quit on the spot unless you're playing for leagues. So anyway, good luck with that. But yeah, this is trolling because he has Polek. So Dunkley, DeGoey, Thomas, Cornelio, I think that's fine. But yeah, I think that's every team. That is every team. So we got through all the teams. Thanks for sending your teams. If you guys like this video, let me know. It is a bit of an exhausting one because you're kind of repeating yourself a bit, and I'm ready for bed, to be honest, after this. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and no proofs, no crips, and you'll be right.